Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. It's Kendra here, and I am back with another video. Today we are gonna do a Learn With Me video. Um, I recently found out that there are a few people who have never used the quick preferences menu in Firestorm. And I just thought that this was something that everybody knew how to use. And when I realized that people didn't know the uses for this quick preferences menu, I figured it would be something good to show you guys how like what's in it and the helpful useful items in this quick preferences. So basically, your preference menu is your control center of everything, how everything works in your Second Life. So you can pretty much control just about anything from your preferences menu. So many of you know how to use your preferences menu. One day I may make a video on how like everything in the preferences menu, but I still don't know how what everything in the preferences menu is yet. So for me to do a video on it, I'd have to do some research before I could do that. But definitely the quick preferences menu is something that I use multiple times every day in my Second Life. And it is a very, very helpful menu for quick and easy ways to adjust things in your Second Life. All right. So, first thing is what is the quick preferences menu? What does it look like? And I'm going to adjust my screen so that you can see all of my menu buttons and all of that. So hold on just a second. Okay, so this is what my screen looks like when you're seeing everything on my screen that I'm seeing right now. So you can see all the buttons at the bottom, you can see just about you just see everything. Up top are your menu uh, tabs where you can find a lot of different things. We're not going to go through those today. Then you have your areas and all of that. And and then you can have buttons down the side of your screens, which are right here, and as well as along the bottom. Uh, your buttons, you can control what buttons you put on your screen and where you put them and I've explained this in some of my videos, but I'm going to do it again. So basically, you just right click on any of the buttons. And when you do, a little menu will pop up on the screen, and you click toolbar buttons. And when you click that, you will see the all the options for buttons that you can put on your screen. The ones that are grayed out are the ones that are already on your screen. The ones that are like standing out are the ones that you still have the option of putting on your screen. And the way you put it on your screen is you just click. All right, so I'm going to use this profile one. You click it and you drag it. And if you notice, the blue bars pop up on either side of your screen or down at the bottom. And you just drag it to one of those bars and it will put it in the position that you want it. If you want to move it, you can move it to a different position and it'll just plop it down right where you move your cursor. Okay? If you want to remove it, all you do is you take it and you drag it back into your toolbar buttons menu, and then it will bring it back, and it'll just take it off your screen. Okay. Now, For the quick preferences, when you first log in with Firestorm, quick preferences is already automatically, there are a few buttons that are just already there for you, and you can customize your buttons in the however you want to. Usually your your Firestorm button is down here in the bottom right hand corner. All right. And it looks like this. It's a little picture of the Phoenix. That is your quick preferences button. This is what we're going to be using today in our in this little tutorial. So I keep it up here on the side of my screen in the top left hand corner just because that's the easiest, like it's the most visually I can see it best there. That's just where I decided to put it. You can change your location of it wherever you want by just dragging it to wherever you want it on the screen. You cannot put buttons in the middle. If you notice that my cursor turned into the little red no symbol, that means you can't put it in the center of your screen. So I don't know why you would want to, but it can only go in the blue bars on either side or down at the bottom. Those are the only places your buttons can go. They cannot go up here at the top either. See if you notice my little cursor is the little no symbol also. So buttons can't go up at the top of your screen either. So it's just down the left, down the right, or at the bottom. Okay? All right. So once you have you located your quick preferences button, if you just click on it, it will bring up this little menu. Okay, I went back to my zoomed in screen so that um, when I bring up the menu, it is a little bit easier to see. So, what you do is you just click on the button and the quick preferences menu comes up. It's just this little box, but there's a lot of stuff in here that you can use that is very helpful when navigating Second Life. A lot of things that I use as a YouTuber that have been um, very helpful and make my life a little bit easier. All right. So, quick preferences, there is a question mark up there. It's just the help browser, and you can click on that and search for any type of questions you might have. Also, it kind of, if you click on that question mark, it kind of explains all of what I'm going to tell you today. Um, in It'll just explain all of it for you. So, if for any reason you want to read up more, there's also things talks about how you can add and remove stuff from your quick preferences. I'm not going to go into this because I use it just the way the default way that it was used. But if you're interested in changing some stuff and adding some stuff to your quick preferences, it explains it here by just clicking the little question mark up at the top. Okay? So all of that is very that menu is very helpful when if for some reason you have a question about the quick preferences. This little button will just bring it back to wherever its default location is. I obviously want it in the center of my screen. And then this button obviously minimizes it to the top corner, and then the X obviously closes it out. All right, so the first item on the quick preferences is you can change your draw distance. All right, draw distance is basically what you physically can see. Now, I'm going to zoom out for myself. I'm in a skybox. So right now, I'm in my skybox. I cannot go further out than this because my draw distance is set at 32 meters. Okay, I can only go 32 meters away from my avatar. All right, but if I increase my draw distance, I can all of a sudden go further out from my avatar. Now I'm at 568 meters from my avatar. And if you notice, I can see things far away in the distance. There's some skyboxes down below me that are very visible. Okay. So all of these, so the draw distance is, but the reason why the draw distance is important is because the further out you can go from your avatar, that means your computer has to render all of that stuff. So the further out, the more lag you're going to create for yourself because you are um, you're rendering all that stuff. Whereas if you bring it in closer to, like, especially like if you're inside a house or for my sake, I'm inside my skybox. So I don't need to render anything outside of my skybox, so I keep my draw distance very low. But if I were doing a video in an outdoor location where I would want to see all of the stuff around me, I'd bring my draw distance up. But again, remember that's going to cause lag um, for your avatar. So it's a lot of important stuff. All right, max particles is another thing that could or could not uh, ma- uh, affect your lag. If you notice, I pulled my max particles all the way down, and now you don't see my little floating rainbow hearts anymore because my rainbow hearts are particles. Um, because I have it down low, it's not going to render that. It's going to, which means it's going to help with lag. All right. But if I drag that bar up, you should start seeing my hearts again. You should. Yeah, see, there they are. They're starting to pop out again. Okay. So that just allows particles in your area to um, to be visible. All right. Again, it's I keep it kind of midway on a normal basis just so that I don't need it way up because I don't want it to affect my performance. All right. Okay. So next is Avatar Physics LOD. LOD stands for level of detail. All right. Obviously, the higher you go with level of detail, the higher the detail you will see on other avatars and other prims, like, and other things in your area. Okay. I don't ever see too much difference with this, but I kind of keep it in the middle. Uh, Let me maybe if I zoom in on my face, if it increases the detail on my face. See, I'm not seeing much difference. I don't ever really play with that. If any of you have better explanations of the different items in this bar that I'm not mentioning, please leave it in the comments. Because we're all learning here, and I probably could learn something else from some of you out there. So just kind of leave it the in the chat down below or the comments down below, and that would be really helpful to people. Um, because I know I'm probably not fully explaining this one because, like I said, it's not something I mess with on a daily basis. All right. Next thing, or oh, the avatar physics LOD, I'm sorry, is for personal avatars. The LOD factor itself is for everything around you. Okay, so the detail of the items around in your environment is what I'm guessing. Again, I don't play with that too much. I just keep it basically there. The next one is max avatars. And this is depending on where you are in your second life, you may be in a crowded area. And what this does is it renders the max number, whatever number of avatars that you set it to. So I have it set at 16. I really don't play around with this. If you're interested in rendering more avatars or less avatars, you can slide it. So, like, if I slide it up to here, I can now fully render 49 avatars are in my surroundings. The more avatars you render, again, the more the effect that it's going to have on your um, performance of your second life. All right. More avatars you render, the more lag you're going to have, especially in a crowded setting like a club or an event or something like that where there are going to be multiple different avatars around you. The lower you set it, the less your computer has to render, which means it will be helpful for your lag. So that one's an important one. I mess with that one when I'm in crowded situations. Um, when I'm somewhere like Surfers Bay, I have it up a little bit higher so that I can see all of the guests that are in the club with me, and that so that I can like interact with them. But like in an event where I am just me focusing on what I'm doing, I'll turn that down so that I don't have to, so that it doesn't affect my performance. So that's what I use. All right, so this next one I need to have my tag on. So let me show you what that is. So let me turn my tag on. All right, so I have my tag above my head, and this is for your own personal tag. This isn't for tags on other people around you, but this is your own personal one. I have it set at 0. It's the default setting. But if you move this slider, it will lower your tag or raise your tag up higher. So the reason why you might want to change the height of your tag, depending on your size. Like if you want to be um, a shorter avatar, I am a shorter avatar, but I'm not like super short. Like some people like to be children avatars and all of that, then you can take your name tag and bring it down just above your head. Because you're shorter, you'd want it floating down above your head. Okay. Um, I keep it at 0 because that's an appropriate height for me. There are some avatars that are very tall, so you want to have your tag up higher. It really doesn't matter. It's up to your preference, and that just moves your tag up and down above your head. Not much of anything else. All right. So the next thing is the next few are on and off switches. That's all. It's you either have it on or you have it off. All right. The next one is name tags. This one is for anybody in the area. You can turn on or off the name tags. This is important for me for videos because usually I turn off my name tags so that you don't see it floating above my head. Okay. But for in a club, where I'm hosting, I would like everybody's name tags above their heads so that I can see who I'm talking to and who is who in the club so I can interact with them. So name tags are important for different reasons. But I toggle this back on and off all the time for my videos and stuff. So this one is an important thing. I keep it off for videos, but all the rest of the time I have my name tags on because I like to be able to see who I'm talking to. Next thing is look at targets, and I turned my look at target on. And if you notice, there's like a little plus sign with my name above it, and it kind of follows my mouse around. That right there is what it shows other people in the area what I am looking at. So, like, I might have it over here, but if I zoom in on my cushion, you notice it's like you can kind of see it right here. It shows that I'm like focused. I've like brought my attention to this poof, okay? And I'm like zoomed in on that poof, okay? So, I can do that with anything. So look, there I'm focused on that. It just shows where you're focused in on. You can turn those on and off in the preferences menu. All right, so if I click it off, now you can't see where my look at target is. All right. And this goes for other avatars around you. So, like in a club, you might see a bunch of look at targets and be able to see what other people are looking at. The next one is color under cursor. Is a very cool feature um, for decorating. And what it is, if you turn it on, down in the bottom right hand corner down here, you'll notice that there are numbers that are like moving around. That is okay, let's see. Let's pick these black things behind me. Edit. All right. If you go to textures and you go to color, over around here are you can have it's the RGB codes. There's a specific number for the red, the specific number for the green, a specific number for the blue, the hue, saturation, and lume. Okay? And if you notice, that sets the color for that's specifically for the color for white. But if I change it to red, okay, then those numbers change. Okay, so every color has a specific RGB code. All right, and depending on what the item is whatever color. Okay, so now in the bottom corner, when you when you go through, it changes and it tells you what the RGB code is for those colors. So, like my cursor is right here, it's um, red 224, green 207, blue 215, and what was the A for? I don't know what the A is for because hue, saturation, and lume. I don't know what the A is for. But you can put, if you want that specific color, then you can use that code to grab that color and put it on whatever object you want. So it makes things helpful for picking colors and trying to get things to match perfectly with your decor. It's helpful with that. I usually keep it off. I actually usually don't use this at all for the most part. Um, I just if I want the color of something, I'll use the little tool in the menu itself. And that's probably another video I could do, is like uh doing a whole video on like changing the color of textures. So, like especially when something's modifiable, it's a helpful tool. So that's another learn with me video I might do in the future. But anyway, okay. So I usually keep that color under cursor turned off because I don't need, that's very distracting having that flashing down below. So we're getting there. All right, next thing is hover height, and I'm going to stand up for this one. Although it works for when you're sitting down too. All right. So, as you can see, I'm standing on the ground, and your hover height is how far above the ground you hover. Okay. So, right now, I have my hover height set to 0. And I'm still hovering above the ground here. So, a lot of times you might have to adjust based on the shoes you're wearing or even the floor itself at the location you're at. Um, so, like, I hover down, I can completely hide myself, or I can hover all the way up and be floating very high. All right. Most of the time, I'm always fixing my hover height to just so I'm standing on the ground appropriately. Okay. That's the reason I use it most often. This is a very handy tool to have quickly because, um, and this is actually the reason why I decided to do this video because somebody was asking, um, in my Discord, I forget who it was, somebody was asking, I think it was Nikki was asking, um, how to quickly change your hover height um, in like a split second. She's like, I know there's got to be a way, but I didn't know. And that's what made me realize that people don't know what's in this quick preferences menu. So thanks Nikki for the idea for this video. And so you can quickly go into this quick preferences and adjust your hover height to whatever hover you want. Or you can also go and, like when I sit down in chairs, I normally just put myself at 0. All right. So that when I'm sitting in chairs, because most um, animations in furniture, they are set at the 0 position. Um, so that you can adjust yourself from the 0 position. So whenever I'm sitting in a chair or something, I always put my hover at 0. And it's usually, for the most part, the best height for that. All right. All right, so next thing is max bandwidth. And this is actually funny because we were talking about this in Jazz's live stream over the weekend when she went shopping and she was having a hard time. Um, her things weren't resing for her quickly. And so somebody, I think Thorn, suggested that she change her bandwidth. And you can do that very easily in the quick preferences. Um, I don't know exactly how it works, but it helps with lagging and things rendering. The higher your bandwidth, probably the harder things will be uh, to load. And like I hardly play with this, but if you're in an area where you have like a furniture store, for example, where there's a lot of different items that have to res in at one time, this max bandwidth can be helpful for that. Um, like I said, I don't really play with it at all that much. So I can't give you much more information. But again, if somebody has more information about the bandwidth and what that means, just put it in the comments below. I do know, though, that the bandwidth, the lower you go, the better frames per second you get on your screen. So it affects your lag a bit. So the higher it is, the more lag you're going to have. And the lower it is, the less lag you're going to have. But I think it's like a kind of a happy medium type thing with that one. All right. And then complexity is every avatar has a complexity number. And that means that the more scripts and stuff that they have attached to them, the more um, lag they're going to cause you. So you can set some the max complexity, which means if you have your complexity set down low, then say I have mine turned all the way down to 20,000 complexity. All right, that's very, very low. Most people are higher than 20,000 complexity. And because it's me, my complexity is higher than 20,000, but because it's my avatar, I always render myself. That's always going to happen. But if you're in a club, um, and you've ever seen those, they're called jelly dolls, but they're like green or purple or gray, like shadows of humans. That's what that means their complexity is higher than what you have your max complexity set at. So that means their scripts and everything are making their complexity much higher than what you are allowing your computer to render, if that makes sense. So the lower you have it, the more jelly dolls you're going to see because most people are around the 50 to 100 thousand complexity. That's usually the range that most people are at. So if you keep it kind of the middle of the road, now the higher complexity that you allow, the more lag you're going to cause because you're rendering more people and more scripts and more textures and all of that, which is going to lag your computer down a little bit more. These are all tricks and tips for people who have don't have a computer that is very strong with their graphics card isn't very strong or whatever, and they get a lot of lag in crowded places. Um, these like little these this quick preferences menu is very helpful for you in that those situations because you can easily quickly change your settings in one easy spot to help with your lag in this. Luckily, I have gotten a new computer, but I remember when I first started my YouTube channel, I had an older computer that the graphics card was not as good, and I had to worry about complexity, and I had to worry about draw distance, and I had to worry about bandwidth and all of that because those were all things, the level of detail, those were all things that were going to affect my performance in Second Life. So I had to keep them all pretty low. Now with my computer being as having a better graphics card and everything, now that doesn't matter for me as much. So it's all it's all relative to what your computer is and what your computer can handle. All right. So the next thing is the different wind lights. We have the sky wind light, we have the water wind light, and we have the day cycle. You can set your personal, and this is just your personal wind lights to whatever you're interested in. I use the sky one very often. Water one I really don't mess with because water is, but the sky one, if you go, you have, you click on the drop down menu and you have your list of all of your different wind lights that you have loaded into your computer. Most of these are already loaded into Firestorm for you. I have a few that I've added myself, for like photography. All these Satomi ones are, they're wind lights that Firestore or that Fox City has provided, and they're all free. So it's definitely worth looking into that if you're a photographer and you want some more wind lights. But also, you can click these arrow buttons, which will just change the wind light to the next one in the list. Or you can go to the and you can go, and if you have a favorite one, you can go and click the ones that you like. All right. Depending on your what you want your environment to look like, your sky environment to look like. Uh-huh. All right. So, like, you can have ones that are real bright. You can, I always keep this one as my main one. It's called Anon Adored Optimal, and it's no shadows. The reason I use this one is because it's the most clear. I found it's the most clear and best for videos and best for seeing everything in my environment. All right. And for the next one, we're going to go down to my forest. All right. So, we are now down in my forest. Let's let everything load up. And we're going to focus this way on the water because the next setting is the wind lights for water. Okay. And you can cycle through these, see how they change the water. Everything looks different. Um, and you can change it to whatever you want it to look like. Um, and this is just a quick way to do it. Um, I usually just keep it on shared environment, unless I am taking a specific um, photo where I want the water to look a specific way. Then I would change the water. And then the day cycle is you can change your own personal day cycle, and there's a whole bunch of different ones. Um, and if you click on a specific one, it's you notice your sky and your water are will will change throughout the day for that cycle. All right. So we're right now in looks like we're at a sunset. So like if you look, the sun is is setting on this cycle. All right. And then if you come back like a couple hours later, the sun will be in a different location and the cycle will be different. All right. So you can change your own personal day cycles through that menu. All right. And you can go through a couple different ones. They have a couple different ones loaded in here already for you. Oh, one more thing. I forgot the last part of the. You can change your personal lighting. Okay, so you click on this and it brings up this menu where you can completely change your exactly what you see. You can kind of create your own win light, is kind of what it does. But really, that's it for the quick preferences. Um, like I said, this menu is very helpful. I go to it multiple times a day, and I think you guys will find it helpful as well. So feel free to go and play around with it. If you find anything in the menu that is might be helpful to others, leave it in the comments below because we all can help each other out. You might even teach. You'll probably. I shouldn't say you might. You probably will teach me something because I'm always learning new things. That's the great thing about Second Life is there's so much you can control about your environment and everything. And this menu is helpful for that. If you have any other questions that I didn't answer in the video, also leave those questions in the comments below, and I will try to answer them for you as well. And that is it. If you found this video helpful or you enjoyed it, just leave a little click that little thumbs up button under the video. It really helps these videos get seen on YouTube, and maybe I can help somebody else if this video gets out there more. If you haven't already and you want more videos like this, I am also in the process of decorating this forest. As you can see, I've got a lot in here, but I also have a lot to do. So that's been quite a series that I've done on this channel. So you can check that out. There's a whole playlist of me decorating this land. So if you want to see it from the beginning, feel free to check that out. And but subscribe and join me on all of my Second Life adventures. I also have a Discord channel where I we have some great discussions. We get to know each other. A lot of people have become friends. I've gained a lot of friends through my Discord. Um, and it's just a fun place to hang out, especially with like real life when we're not able to all be on Second Life. We can still keep in touch on my Discord. I also post notices for when my videos go out or I go live. So that's you can find things out there. I also have a an in-world group. Both the Discord and the Inworld Group is listed in the description down below. So feel free to join both of those if you're interested. I know uh, group space is limited and a hot commodity, so I understand if you're not going to join the Inworld Group, but it's there if you're interested. And I post notices. I post things in chat of things going on around Second Life that I think maybe anybody might be interested in from the channel. So that's there too. And that is it. That's my whole spiel. I hope you all have an amazing day, and I will see you in my next video. Take care, all. Bye.